In this video, we're going to take a look at how to compare fractions with a 1/2 benchmark. Now that 1/2 benchmark might seem a little odd or new or complicated to some of you. Basically what it is you're comparing fractions based on how they relate to the fraction of 1/2. Let's take a look at just how a fraction might relate to 1/2. If I have the fraction 2/6 and I want to know how does that relate to 1/2. Well, if I make common denominators, and my denominator is 6, I know that 1/2 would be 3/6. So how does 2/6 relate to 3/6? Well, it's less than. So that's how a fraction relates to the benchmark of 1/2. Let's take a look at one more. Let's look at the fraction 5/8. And I want to know how does that relate to 1/2. Well, if I look at my denominator of 8, I make an equivalent fraction here. That's times 4, so that's times 4. It gives me 4/8. How does 5/8 relate to 4/8? Well, 5/8 is greater than 4/8, so 5/8 is greater than 1/2. Now, using this same concept, we're going to look at comparing two separate fractions. So let's do another example. And let's say we have the fraction 2/6, as from above, and 5/8. Now we want to look at these and we want to see how they relate to each other in relationship to how they relate to 1/2. Yeah, clear as mud, right? So 2/6, we said half would be 3/6. And since 2/6 is less than 3/6, that's going to be less than 1/2. Now for 5/8, we said that half was 4/8. Since 5/8 is greater than 4/8, this would be greater than 1/2. So since 2/6 is less than 1/2 and 5/8 is greater than 1/2, 2/6 would be less than 5/8. Okay, one more example while I got you here. Let's look at 9/10 and 5/12. Once again, we're going to see how 9/10 compares to 1/2. Well, with the denominator of 10, I know 1/2 would be 5/10. Now how does 9/10 relate to 5/10? Well, it is more than that, so it's more than 1/2. And 5/12, how does it relate to 1/2? Well, it has a denominator of 12, so 1/2 would be 6/12. How does 5/12 relate to 6/12? Well, it is less than that, so it is less than 1/2. Since 9/10 is greater than 1/2 and 5/12 is less than 1/2, 9/10 would be greater than 5/12.